that period after scoring, we had the initiative. We were stretching Spain in the attack. We had a decent amount of the ball. That's when you then have to go and decide to win the game.
Yeah,
you cannot sit back and invite pressure from the best passing football team on the planet.
Is someone else going to come in and do better just because they play a different style?
Yeah.
Bellingham, Trent, Mainu, Palmer, Rice. These are all players that play incredible football week in, week out for their clubs because they are playing attacking football. The next step is getting that next level, and Gareth Southgate is not the guy for that. Hola, bienvenido a Football Trending. ¿Dónde está el European Championship Trophy?
España.
Viva España. There you go, that's done. And that is actually about the length of my Spanish as well, to be fair. Get that flag down.
Stupid trophy, anyway.
It's all about the Olympics, isn't it?
It's not as good as the World Cup.
Was what it was, wasn't it, really?
Yeah.
Where did we finish off last week when we were last episode when we were giving our predictions? You said we were going to win.
I said we'd sneak it.
I kind of knew we were going to lose. Football knowledge 101.
Yeah, here he is.
But certain players have blood on their hands.
Nah, with the way we've played in the tournament, that was the game plan that we were always going to go with to try and stop Spain, and it worked for long periods.
It did feel like at half time it was going according to plan. Obviously Spain dominated the first half, but going in at 0-0, it did feel like maybe it was going
going in at 0-0. They haven't had like amazing chances. Rodri comes off, and you're like, "Oh, we have a chance." Here.
That was the. Do you know what? That was the moment.
Yeah,
I think hope is a dangerous thing.
Yeah, I think
that
everyone in
killed me
England.
off.
Yeah.
Everyone in England thought, you know what? Rodri comes off.
Just taking
kind
off
of
the
glued
best
to the
defensive
team.
midfielder on the planet.
Yeah, exactly. We have a chance here.
Yeah.
They came out of that second half and fucking blitzed us.
We didn't touch the ball before the goal.
You've got to come out at the same level as your opponent at half time.
Yeah.
And we just you can't afford at that level to sit. And you know, Spain have been the best team at the Euros.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise. There's no shame in losing to that Spain team. Losing in the way that we lost to them in the end is incredibly frustrating. I think we actually did very well to get ourselves back in the game. I think Cole Palmer's goal is absolutely unbelievable.
Great goal.
It's a great finish. To then that period after scoring, 10 minutes or so, we had the initiative. We were getting further forward. We were stretching Spain in the attack. We had a decent amount of the ball. That's when you then have to go and decide to win the game.
Yeah,
you cannot sit back and invite pressure from the best passing football team on the planet. You cannot do that. So it was so frustrating. And that is, for me, it has summed up England's tournament. It summed up Southgate's way of managing this team of players. That actually, we've been so reactive all tournament. We've waited to go behind before doing anything. Again, he actually got the subs. He got the subs right in bringing Palmer on, but then to sit back and invite that pressure to then inevitably conceding in the last few minutes is really disappointing.
It showed. It's not a vulnerability, but it showed where we're at our weakest, and it's when we were almost like caught in two minds. We were good preventing Spain from getting chances when we were in a low block set up like that. We hardly conceded any chances apart from the two goals. The two goals both came from a lack of concentration or a sort of mental tiredness, or whatever you want to put it down to, right at the start of the second half, and right at the end of the half.
Yeah.
And the second goal in particular, it was almost as if we sort of went, we could go and win this, open the game up so there was space in between the defensive midfield and attack. And that is where Spain are just lethal. And that is where the game was lost in those two chances. And we've been talking about moments all tournament. We lost the moments overall.
It's so frustrating though, because we saw how Spain played for the entirety of the first half. We knew how compact they were going to be. We knew how quick they were going to move the ball. And the whole point was we either needed to move around their press or they needed to move around ours, basically. We saw that for the whole of the first half. So for them to get back in the game and be within touching distance of getting to extra time, which I think in itself against that Spain team would have been would have been an achievement. To then just let go of it for the last 5 minutes is so disappointing.
It's exactly that, because when Spain played in and around our box at times, they look so fluid.
Yeah.
They look like
that they have the ability that if you invite the pressure, they will pass around.
I do think, and many people won't agree with me, that Pickford should be saving that first goal. This is why he went with his feet. If he goes with his hands, he gets there. If he goes with his hands, he gets there. It's
well-struck shot. Well-struck shot. I think
it's harsh. I know, but one thing I've realised after England losing is, fucking hell, we are a hated country. People all around the world. People all around.
People that wanted us to win.
Yeah. Oh my God, I have learned every other nation actually wants us to lose.
Yeah.
I don't know what we've done.
There's probably something politically.
To be
Several
fair,
things.
Man for man, we have a better team, guys. They had fucking Nacho, Normand, who's good, and Laporte fucking playing at the back.
Cucurella at left back.
And it's like Kane playing a centre mid the whole game.
Shout out. Well, I mean, it would have been nice for Harry Kane to have been on the pitch at any point at all yesterday. I thought he was absolutely dreadful. Utterly dreadful.
Kane,
he's not. He doesn't appear to be fit. Like they alluded to, and for the first time, Southgate and Kane alluded to that after the game, where it was like he's not fully fit.
But then why do you play him?
I don't think you can be that absent and just say that though, because I think, as you said, the answer then is, well, you've got
Tony and Watkins.
You've got Tony and Watkins,
exactly.
whose stock has never been higher. And, I understand that if you're England in a final, you don't want to drop Harry Kane because he's Harry Kane. He's had an unbelievable season. He's a fantastic striker and he's captain. But the fact that Southgate had the sense to take him off after 60 minutes shows that he knew that the system wasn't working. And that realistically, probably could have started one of either Tony or Watkins.
Yeah,
really.
I think, I sort of...
hindsight's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, in my in the run-up to the final, I would have said, why are we even talking about dropping Kane? He's the player that...
And I think most people did.
Agreed.
That. I would say that.
When you look at the way we played with that low block, the way that we were trying to get out of it was...
not Kane's game.
Yeah.
Shipping it long. Pickford was not... We weren't trying to beat the press that often with short passes. It was Pickford going long, which is a valid way of winning a football match. Which is Tony's game.
Which is mad, though, because... Southgate did an interview pitch side before the game, and they asked him what basically the plan was today, and he said we need to beat their press.
Yeah.
So the whole thing is we've set up to beat their press, and then suddenly you look on the pitch, and that is absolutely not what we're doing.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just like you have to have someone that you could play into. And whenever we had the ball, Kane just decided to come so deep that
it can work with Kane. Like the last time we played Spain was 2018, and Kane was unbelievable. Because he had Rashford and Sterling.
Yeah.
And Kane dropped deep and he was the one playing passes in behind. And he's brilliant at it. He's a phenomenal footballer and a phenomenal passer of the ball. It's why he's one of the most complete strikers in the world, is because he is a great finisher, but
great passer,
his
hold up play.
Other string to his bow is he can drop deep, he can do all this stuff, but we need to set up to play in that way. And Saka isn't that player, and it's not his fault that he's not that player. And neither is Phil Foden or Bellingham when we set up with the 2 10s. So
exactly.
We were effectively playing with 3 10s at one point, and it didn't work effectively in terms of our retention of the ball. And when you play in moments, you need to consistently create little sparks that then give the team belief that a moment will come. And it did, but it was our single moment, really. And we're fortunate that Palmer scored that, really. It was a half chance.
And we were never going to get loads of chances. Like we went out and asked people a couple of days ago what you have to do to beat the Spain side, and they said, well, you basically have to nullify. You have to nullify the Yamal threat, but then you also have to worry about Williams, who was unbelievable. Yeah. You've got to worry about Rodri pulling the strings in the middle of the park. I've got to say, fair play to Luke Shaw. He was absolutely,
honestly,
brilliant yesterday.
He was so good.
From minute one, the first challenge with Yamal, he won it, and that was it. That was it for the rest of the game.
And he just
really well.
He done so well. He kind of semi-man marked Yamal. Like when Yamal at times went into midfield, and I was like, Luke, sure, where are you going? He just went straight up his arse and just followed him.
His only job was to deal with him yesterday, and he done it. He did it really effectively.
Even though Yamal came with an assist, I still think we should have had that same energy for Williams as well.
I think we're going to get on to Southgate, but it was the tactical flexibility of Spain that earned them the second goal and earned them that dominance in the second half as well, where it was Yamal was just like, has either been instructed or is just the most football intelligent 17-year-old going. He started to come inside where Luke Shaw didn't want to go.
Yeah.
Even Spain was sort of putting Nico Williams at one point in the first half, were doubling them up.
So he drifted to the right.
And it's like that flexibility, that intelligence is how you win games.
Yeah.
And we've shown it in weird, like when we've brought on Watkins, when we've brought on Tony at the right times, brought on Palmer and adjusted slightly, it does work with personnel changes. But to have that in-game intelligence to just go and do that is why Spain won the game. Why they deserve to win, not just why they won the game, but why they really deserve to. Because on the day, they were always just one step ahead. Even without Rodri, it was just like And I read Jonathan Liu in The Guardian this morning. And it was like we tried to burgle this tournament.
So it would have been a real smash. He
does this quite often when I've watched the game, and I know how I feel about it, but I don't know how to articulate it. That is exactly what we tried to do.
Yeah, literally.
We tried to burgle the whole tournament. Yeah, and you can't do that consistently.
Yeah, and I know that you have said several times it's not about luck; it is about moments. It did feel last night as though it would have been luck, and that the luck ran out. And I think as well,
I said that. I said that to you last week. I said our luck will run out,
and I think as well, like as much as obviously we all wanted England to win last night. The pundits were saying after the game, it's a win for football that Spain won last night because they have played the best football. Yeah. They played very attacking, brazen football. They played very, very good football. Yeah. No one wants to see, apart from obviously we do, no one else really wants to see a negative Southgate team win the Euros. Yeah.
We asked some fans straight after the game yesterday what they thought about Southgate. And
it gets emotional.
Have a quick watch of it.
Southgate needs to go. I mean, he's bringing Jose.
Gareth Southgate.
New manager, new tactics. We need to be more attacking.
Yes. I think it should be, but it won't be. They're not going to sack him after getting to another final, realistically.
It's up to him, though. He's got 2 finals in the semi-final. You can't deny that.
Once
Southgate
gone,
in or out,
fresh
Joe?
reboot of energy into
I think now is the obvious time to make.
I think maybe that's the change that's needed to take the
Alan Shearer said it. I think it was Alan Shearer said it last night.
We've
hit the ceiling now with this team,
dodgy teams,
with this group of players,
bodging us our way to the final.
We know now that we can get to major finals. Great, we can't win them. So the next step is to find that next level. If you look at the crop of players that are likely going to be the spine of the team at the World Cup, you're looking at Bellingham, Trent, Mainu, Palmer, Rice. Gordon will be there by then, I imagine as well. These are all players, as pointed out last night, that play incredible football week in, week out for their clubs because they are playing attacking football.
Exactly.
You are never, ever, ever going to get that with Gareth Southgate.
Yep.
He's shown that. He deserves a huge amount of credit because you look at where we were when he came in. It was arguably the worst state that English football has ever been in. There was no connection with fans. There was nothing going on the pitch. Morale was all over the place.
We looked at a team before.
Oh my God, first team is dreadful.
It was Danny Rose, Dele Alli. It was all good players.
But it was also everything. It was the weight. It was the weight that was carried around that, and that's the thing. And you look at that. He's instilled that culture. He's instilled belief, and only the people that have worked with him as closely as the players will really know what it's truly like. But the next step is getting that next level, and Gareth Southgate is not the guy for that. There have been talks about a new contract. The FA apparently want him to stay regardless. I don't think it will come to that. I think Southgate is self-aware enough that he will resign off the back of it. I don't think he'll wait to get sacked because they won't sack him.
Yeah.
I think he will simply say, now is the time. And in my mind, it is the obvious
time. I generally do think if Southgate resigns, let's say this week, I think people could hold their hands up and be like, you know what, mate, you've done really well to get us to stage. And you kind of know when your time's up.
Like, I think there's a huge amount of respect for him.
Yeah.
I think, everyone, for his own demons, if nothing else, would have really liked him to have won it yesterday.
Yeah.
To have kind of had that full circle moment for him.
Yeah.
And to banish some of the demons that he has had. It's not a matter of people won't respect him, and in 5 years' time, when England have a new manager and have moved on, everyone will sing about how much they like Gareth Southgate and what a good guy he is. Because he is. He's a very, very good person. Who has worked really well with certain players in this group. The issue is we are not going to win things playing this football.
Agreed.
You have to have that tactical flexibility that Ben just spoke about. You have to have a plan B, and you have to make the most of your team. And unfortunately, our team is, fortunately, very, very talented attacking footballers.
Yeah.
They need attacking.
Agreed. Took a point. Ben,
Yeah,
in or out, son?
I'm still torn, and there's an emotional element to that. I always have this thing with managers when.
Well, that's a you problem. Then.
That's a huge you problem.
You have an attachment issue.
Some of us like to win trophies.
I have this, and it's about your risk averseness generally.
Yeah.
I always think just be really careful what you wish for, because as much as there is we have a really talented squad, there is no guarantee in international football that any style of football or any manager comes in and improves on what Southgate has done. He might well be the best person for the England job because of his understanding of the process of the under-21s. His management of the ecosystem of being the England manager is bigger than club football.
Yeah.
It is there are different expectations, and people pin their emotions on you in a similar way to club football, but it is different because it is national. He will go because I think he's just tired. He showed it before the tournament at the last World Cup. I think he was really, really close to leaving.
Yeah.
Part of me just thinks if he is managing that environment really well and the players really want him to stay, part of me thinks, is someone else going to come in and do better just because they play a different style?
Yeah.
Is this are we just wishing away? Because there's two trains of thought, isn't there? There's Southgate has made us a really good international football team that is constantly contending and competing at major tournaments. And I think that is correct. And then it's is he just not capable of winning them? But then the other train of thought, and this is where you Southgate out, is he is currently managing the best set of English players, talent-wise, and the depth of it that we've ever had, really. That you see the combined 11s with the golden generation, and the golden generation's 11 is incredible. They did not have the depth that Southgate is able to work with. So a part of me is just I'm just sad that it's not gone well for him, because I think he's just an unbelievably good guy. We're never going to find a person to manage a team.
In terms of the man management side of it,
no
whoever comes in next will not match that.
Yeah. But I think for me personally, he kind of has, once again, man management, as a man, as a human, amazing guy. He comes across so good, so respectful. But I think for me, you can't have that crop of players, that generation of players, the Bellinghams, the Fodens, all of them, and not get the best out of them. I honestly think to have the players you have and to play that style of football, it is just, I think it's actually a disservice to them.
Yeah, massively.
Yeah, it's like to play fucking Foden out on the left when you have Anthony Gordon. It's sometimes you can't always play your best players. Sometimes you have to sacrifice a player for the system.
For the system.
And
we saw that with Cucurella last night.
Yeah. You
left
saw
back playing left back, and it really worked. And it worked with Shaw, and he pinned his hopes on Shaw being fitter than he was, I think.
Yeah.
But overall, we saw a Spanish system with round pegs in round holes. And we had a couple of players.
Exactly.
In
I think people will also talk in hindsight about the players that Southgate took. I think there will be a few instances, like I said, people will say, why on earth didn't you pick a second left back?
Yeah. You had Tariq Mitchell, you had you had Joe Gomez, who's played months as a left back. And then also things like Harry Kane. Guys, my thing with Harry Kane is amazing player, but if a player is not fit, you can't play him.
You can't pin the hopes.
You can't
play that level.
I generally think it's disrespectful to the other players. Imagine being Ollie Watkins and Ivan Toney, seeing Harry Kane in training every day, not fit. He's probably missed a few training sessions to not getting injured more.
Manage his load over the week.
Manage his load. And then you sit there and you're like, fuck, I'm not getting minutes. When Ivan Toney come on, he done so well. When Ollie Watkins come on, he does so well. And I think them reasons are the reasons why you have to change it.
And those boys will get another go.
Yes,
You do have to wonder. Obviously, Kane, unbelievable season in Germany, he's doing very well for himself. He started very well. You do wonder where he will be in 2 years. And I tell you what, Anthony Gordon, Tony, Watkins, Trent, Palmer, they'll all be exactly where they are now. So they will get the chance. I'm sure they will be massively disappointed. But the bottom line for me is, if this crop of players that we're going to be taking to the World Cup are this insanely we're attacking like talented group of players, then you need an attack-minded manager to play to that. I don't know who that's going to be.
And I think, especially with the World Cup, I don't think Walker will go. I think this is his last major tournament.
No, it's Trent's time. It'll be Trent's time.
And you can't... And the reality is, if Trent plays right back, you can't be as defensive as we was now. You have to actually play attacking.
Yeah.
Like, whoever comes in, or even if it's Southgate, you have to play attacking football. I just want to say a huge shout out to Kobbie Mainoo. Like, it is his first season in professional football.
Yeah.
And he's gone to the Euro. He started off in the under-18s this year. To go to the 21s, then to go to the first team, kill it at Man United, which is a club that's really been struggling. To get into the England squad, provisionally, then into the full squad, not start the first game, get a chance to come on, do super well, and to get to the European final. Like, you have to... And that just shows, at the World Cup, it could be a whole new team. Like, that's just the reality of it.
I think we'll miss Southgate culturally in terms of what people think of him and his man management. But for me, who wants to keep watching England play awful football,
mate, like
burgle their way through tournaments?
Yeah. Well, I think that is where I think Southgate will reflect, and I think overall he'll reflect and be like, he basically played this tournament as it's win or out. Because
he's been very open about it.
We have played more stylish football at previous tournaments. I watched us against Italy in one of the qualifiers for this tournament back in September, October, November time last year. We were really good to watch. It wasn't negative. It wasn't boring. It was good football, played really well, and it was Southgate's system that was responsible for that. Like his players, his tactics, and I think I don't know whether he has. He's probably made a conscious decision to just shore it up pre-tournament and be a little bit more conservative, because that is probably him reverting to type overall.
Yeah.
And it was basically, I think we said it the other day, if you win it, you're a hero. Yeah. But you haven't allowed yourself any room for error. It's stylistically. Because say, for instance, we go to America and we play unbelievable attacking football but get knocked out in the quarters or the semi, you're sort of like, actually, the manager has obviously done a really good job to get them playing like that. So as a manager, you're almost like giving yourself like a bit of fat to go, this will make me popular, therefore I won't get sacked. So whereas I think Southgate this tournament was like, is semi-aware that because we haven't won it, he is going to.
But that's the thing now. You're right. You can afford to not be successful but be popular. The issue that we've got now, if we look at it completely objectively, is that we haven't won the Euros and the football isn't popular.
Yeah. He'll be aware of that, and I think he will resign.
He'll resign. I don't think he will. The FA won't sack him. I don't think.
Yeah, right. I think rightly so. They shouldn't sack him.
I think
absolutely.
He's in the bracket of manager where we talk about how shit it was, the football that we were playing in 20 under Hodgson as well. If you think about 2012, 2014, and 2016, the football was shite. Like there wasn't a defensive game plan to sort of not concede many goals. It was just shit all round.
Exactly.
And Southgate has given us, as like a young generation of fans, probably 3 or 4 at least of the best moments of as football fans we potentially will ever have. And that is a credit to him, and it's about the environment he's created, not just in the dressing room and the man management, but the emotional intelligence to call out racism at points, to basically portray the best of England in a way.
Absolutely.
And I think overall, I am glad that he's been manager, even though we haven't won. Like, I am glad that he's had that time, and I don't think the FA should sack him.
100%.
But and I'm glad that he is being given the respect
to decide.
Respect to
and
decide.
I think that's a great point, and I think you have to give him credit for not just getting to certain competitions, but also to change the belief in certain moments. So, like penalty shootouts, for example, before Southgate, even to the start of Southgate's tenure here, we was like, penalty shootout, this is us done for the tournament. But he's kind of like, if we go into a penalty shootout, I feel confident now.
Yeah.
But like 5-10 years ago, I'm like, I don't feel that. And they're the little things that you have to give Southgate credit for, because them stuff are not easy, especially when players mentally or subliminally know that shit, we're England in a penalty shootout.
Yeah, and the thing is, there is, as you said, if he's given the choice to reflect and decide whether he wants to go, there is no shame in being part of the progress.
Yeah.
Right? If he resigns now, he can take all of that with him. He can take the change in culture. He can take the change in the way that the fans have related to the English team. It might be that we don't go all the way with Southgate. We go all the way with somebody else. Yeah. Some other manager takes us to the trophies. It is perfectly respectable and a huge achievement for him to have navigated this part of the process and to lay the foundations. Because then in America or the next Euros or whatever, if we win one of those without Southgate, we will turn around and say none of this would have been possible without Southgate pulling us out of this massive hole that we were in.
Before we move on to good old awards night, quick one. Who do you want to see in charge next? I want one realistic and one who you would want to see.
Who I would want to see is Jurgen Klopp.
Okay, and now a realistic
as a manager on a break who you could bring in to play exciting attacking football for a major tournament, Jurgen Klopp.
I think I'd go Poch. I think
he's your actual one though, isn't he? You were saying.
Would you say that's a realistic
the other day?
Yeah, I think he was quite. He was getting. Well, this is like ITK. Semi told it as like, oh, he's being lined up for it at the Qatar World Cup.
Yeah.
That he was close to replacing Southgate.
So do you think that's a realistic option?
I think it's a relatively realistic option.
Do you think Klopp's a realistic option?
Klopp is not a realistic option, and to be honest, I don't want Jurgen Klopp to manage anyone ever again.
Yeah, same.
It's probably a bit of a cop-out because it's an obvious one because he's English and he's young. I would be intrigued to see what Eddie Howe would do.
Yeah, that's who I would be.
I think as a realistic option that the FA, if Southgate goes, a young manager who plays attacking football, has a lot of Premier League experience, had a lot of success working with very little at Bournemouth. Yeah. I could totally see him coming in and installing
the other one that I saw an article about was Lee Carsley, the under-21s manager.
Yeah, but presumably that is only coming from the fact that Southgate...
It's the Southgate model.
Yeah.
It's the Southgate
model.
Honestly,
the 21s and that side play really good football. But when you do play in the men's game, it's a totally different ball game.
I don't think Graham Potter's a bad shout.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad shout.
But I think I don't know, it's maybe the way I see football.
He's so deflated, by the way.
Yeah, maybe the way I see football, I would prefer to see someone that carries on in the same vein as Southgate in terms of the management of culture, not on the foot. I mean, you want more exciting football.
I think Eddie Howe is that though.
He
comes across very well, and people do speak very well of him.
Yeah.
Who do you think it should be in the comments? By the way, let us know. If Southgate does go, who's it going to be?
Finn, who do you think?
Who do I think it's going to be?
Who do you want it to be?
I would quite like Eddie Howe, to be fair.
Yeah, see, that's two for Eddie Howe.
I feel weird about an English manager.
Jem?
Get Wenger back.
Fuck off, man. Anyways, moving on to awards.
You're still pissed up.
Yeah,
Get out.
Yeah, he's still pissed.
Get out.
Anyways, that's a stupid take. Moving on to awards. So we're going to start off with the team of the tournament, which is undoubtedly the winners.
Spain.
Yeah, easily.
Now, the fun part. I call it donkey of the tournament. Who had a bad tournament?
Who's had the worst tournament?
Underperformed.
Underperformed.
Yeah.
Okay, well... Not Scotland then. Scotland performed exactly as I expected them to.
Yeah. In terms of an individual player, and this isn't to say he's an awful footballer, the player that has had the worst experience at a tournament, I think, is Porteous.
Yeah.
His Euros did not go right.
No.
Overall.
The red card.
And it's not necessarily donkey of the tournament, it's like worst holiday.
Yeah. And I tell you, not quite the same. But maybe someone who, not the donkey of the tournament, but something that's just kind of been very sad to watch. I am going to say Cristiano Ronaldo.
No, I'm happy.
The
hate watch is strong.
Was a definite underperformer.
Quick one, sorry, I generally don't know this. What was the Copa America score last night?
Argentina won, didn't they?
SE. My God.
We can't have you not knowing the Copa America.
No, sorry. Honestly, I had such
new host for next season. Apply with him.
Honestly, I had intentions to watch it. Yeah, it was just a long night, guys.
He was working late.
Yeah, I was
a singer.
Yeah.
I think in terms of players that you hope light up, the big stages, watching him very much be someone who is angry at time getting away from him.
I think he's similar to Kane. Like that situation there. Like he just didn't perform, and I do think.
He did score 3 goals, though, Harry Kane. He is joint Golden Boot winner.
Yeah. But that Golden Boot's bugs this year. I'm not gonna lie to you, because I think Portugal looked better without Ronaldo at times. Surprise of the tournament. I think there's only one, guys.
Georgia.
It has to be Georgia.
Yeah, loved watching them. They were. I saw a graphic that was like the average goals per game was really low at Euro 2024. But that first round of games and the group stages in particular, Georgia lit it up. Mate.
Yeah,
they were brilliant to watch.
Like that game against Spain.
Yeah, and Spain are brilliant.
Player of the tournament.
There's a lot to go. I mean,
basically half the Spain team.
That's it. If you look at Spain alone, you're looking at Yamal, you're looking at Williams. I've very much enjoyed watching Fabian for Spain as well. I think Fabian's had a great tournament. I mean, Dani Olmo though as well.
I think Olmo might be the one. You
reckon?
I think he scored important goals for them.
Yeah,
and it's just like also the narrative of it. He sort of
fell off a little bit.
He's gone after Kane in the pre-match press conference and saying I'm the Kane curse, because he stopped him winning a trophy in Germany, and that adds to the overall aura of the thing. So I'd probably potentially give it to Olmo. I'm trying to think of.
It's hard, isn't it? There wasn't an absolute standout.
Is there anyone outside of the Spain team
that
you think is the player of the tournament?
No,
Musiala.
Maybe Musiala.
Musiala done well. The issue was they didn't get to a semi, so it's kind of it stops him kind of showcasing his ability.
Musiala and Wirtz,
were,
but they were both sort of good in off games.
They're
quite similar, not similar footballers, but play in similar areas and pick up. And I think they impacted games sort of alternately, so they weren't necessarily Germany weren't relying on one of them. So I don't think I would go either of them, but they both had good tournaments. Yeah, outside of Spain,
it's hard, isn't it?
I think Cucurella.
I was gonna say Cucurella.
Not player of the tournament, but
shout out to him
in terms of surprisingly good. I think Cucurella's been unbelievable.
Yeah, I think it feels like
he showed why Chelsea actually signed him.
That's an interesting barometer. A player that you thought was going to be shit, but has actually done pretty well for himself. Most improved. Cucurella can have most improved. That's fair.
That's most improved. Moment of the tournament.
For me,
so I think England.
There's an obvious England one.
Yeah.
There's two obvious England ones.
I think there's three: Saka, Bellingham, and Watkins.
Saka's isn't moment of the tournament.
I think the Bellingham
not worthy of it.
I think
it's worthy of a to be.
I think the Bellingham overhead is the obvious one, and then obviously Watkins against the Netherlands. Outside of England, are we talking moment as in goal result? Because, I mean, Georgia beating Portugal again is probably, for a lot of people, the moment of the tournament.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. If England went on to win the Euros, I think it would have been a Bellingham or Watkins moment. But I think Georgia to even get out the group is a moment in itself.
Yeah,
you have to give credit to Georgia.
I think the Spain last-minute goal against Germany, knocking out the hosts.
Yeah.
And it was his dad scored. Yeah. Is it the exact same stadium 20 years before? And he did the exact same celebration. Which
that's actually a moment. That's a huge moment.
Should have had the penalty for Cucurella's handball though.
Yeah, but I don't
want to be that guy to ruin it. But
replay the whole
most improved goalkeeper is Cucurella. Best dressed manager, please.
You know what? Southgate's up there. Southgate. With his little Hublot watch.
And his waffle knits. He loves his waffle knits.
Yeah. I like Southgate's merch. The Belgium manager, Tedesco, was wearing some good clobber as well.
Mm-hmm. I thought the Swiss manager as well. I thought he looked pretty clean.
What was the Swiss one? What was the Swiss get up? Just t-shirt.
Kind of shoulder length hair, t-shirt. I mean, it was very simple.
T-shirt, chinos.
He had a bit of
pundit shoes.
Yeah, he had a bit of an aura about him as well, I thought. Best pundit.
Mata was good last night.
Mata was very good last night.
It goes to either Joe Hart
was very good.
Or Cesc Fabregas.
Yeah, Fabregas.
Fabregas was really good.
I'd have Joe Hart as my newcomer. I think we've had Fabregas.
I haven't seen much of Hart.
It was weird because he had the first game,
and
then he kind of went off the radar.
I thought he was.
Who else was really good? Iker Casillas on BBC.
Yeah.
Didn't see much of him either.
I think it was weird because they rotated a lot depending on the games that was on BBC.
I was pleased to see Jose Font. I thought he had
a good game. And he called out, he wasn't like a Portugal, up your ass. He called out stuff about Portugal.
Yeah. He also said at one point, it was it's penalties are like the Euro millions. And I was like, it was quite funny hearing a Portuguese person
go like English
referring to quite an English thing.
Great. It's like code switching.
Yeah, it was like, instead of saying the lottery, he was like familiar with the English lingo. I was quite impressed with that. So, yeah.
That is Football Trending Euros edition done. Thank you for supporting us on our socials, Football Joe, all that kind of stuff.
That's Football Trending for the season done.
Football Trending for the season. To be honest, we haven't got long until the new season anyway.
A few weeks, innit?
Yeah.
Got to get fit.
Got to get fit. Got to change the set around.
Starts now. Gaffer got us in early.
Get
doors.
some new shirts on the walls.
Let us know what you want for Football Trending for the Premier League season. Any ideas? Any formats? Thank you for supporting us. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you in August. Bye, guys.